Of course graffiti is art, but that doesn't mean anything. Who cares? Art's not some special thing that you get to have, and that if you suddenly make a stick figure with a little smiley face on it with spray cans on someone else's fence, that it's protected. That's silly. Just because it's art important to you doesn't mean it's an important piece or that anyone cares. Hey team, what's going on? Today we're going to talk about graffiti. But what is graffiti? Well, let's find out. Now, normally I don't like using Wikipedia, but I mean, normally graffiti is a state crime, and I don't want to go through 50 different state statutes. So a more generalized idea of what graffiti is, I think would be, we'll do us more service here. So let's jump in. Wikipedia says that graffiti is writing or drawings made on a wall or other surface, usually as a form of artistic expression without permission and within public view. Well, that sounds pretty harmless, doesn't it? But why is graffiti a crime? As a crime, graffiti is the damage to property caused by spraying, writing, drawing, marking, or applying paint or other marking substance to a person's property without their consent. Sounds more like what the state statutes say instead of Wikipedia. You're going soft on me, and that's why I'm not giving you money, Wikipedia. Anyway, so graffiti. Now, really though, I mean, who really cares about graffiti, right, guys? I mean, the reason why is because, seriously, guys, it's not your property. And as it says here, it's damage to the property caused by spraying, writing, or doing whatever it is you're doing. And let's be honest, 90% of the time, it's not some art-starving artist looking for a canvas and he finds the perfect one on the side of your fence or wall or what. Mostly it's related to gangs or drugs or territory or just being a delinquent. But even if that were the case, well, let's forget about gangs, because let's forget that gangs like to mark their territory, and if you cross it off, it's an open invitation to get killed, or it's them saying they're going to kill you. So let's just take that off the table real quick. Let's say the only thing you're doing is painting some surface that isn't yours. The problem is it damages it. If you paint the side of a house or a fence, it brings the value down. And why is that? It's because of the broken windows theory. Now, there's going to be a lot of people, sociologists, they don't like this, but they're wrong and they're stupid because it's absolutely true. New York City knows it to be true, and when you stop enforcing the small things, the bigger things get out of control. And here's what it says. The broken windows theory is a criminological theory that states that visible signs of crime, antisocial behavior, and civil disorder create an urban environment that encourages further crime and disorder, including serious crime. If you let one window get broken, and you have a whole side of a building with windows, if one of them gets broken and stays broken, the other ones will too, quicker than you would like. Now, if you fix that one window, turns out the rest of them don't get broken nearly as much. Well, the same thing can be said for graffiti. It's just part of the whole urban blight. That once you start having that disrespect for other people's property, it's indicative of the way the environment is going. And, well, like I said earlier, it damages. Now, let's talk about a real case that happened here recently. You hear about this one? It's crazy. This New York landlord who owned the building, it's this one here, with all this murals. Now, mind you, some of these are permanent. Some of them are. Some of them didn't get changed. But other ones are, and they get painted over. And so the whole nature of the beast is if you're a graffiti artist, you are going to get your stuff painted over. That's how it works. They're not supposed to be permanent. Even Banksy, he's not expecting his stuff, well, definitely not in the beginning, to be permanent. Look at the painting he shredded. Obviously, he's not looking for permanence so much, especially in his graffiti work. Well, these artists are, and apparently there's a really bad law called the Visual Artists' Rights Act that says that if you own a painting and you destroy it, the artist can come out. So you buy a painting, and I don't know, for some reason you decide to destroy it. I don't know why. Maybe because you're a jerk and you don't want to bequeath it to anybody, or you're taking it with you when you die. For whatever reason, it's your property. You can do what you want with it, right? Wrong, son. If the work of art you have is meets certain criteria, it says that a painter may insist on proper attribution of his painting, or in some instances may sue the owner of the physical painting for destroying the painting, even if the owner of the painting lawfully owned it. Now, I don't like that at all. How about you guys? I don't like someone telling me what I can and cannot do with my property. As long as what I'm doing is legal. If I can go and destroy any piece of my property that I own without hurting anybody else, nobody has a right. But I guess they're saying that they're going to be hurt, the artist. Well, you got paid off whatever you cost. It doesn't belong to you anymore. But here's that in action. This dude, he owned this property. He wanted to demolish it and put in high-rise apartments and condos. So all that was getting destroyed anyway. It was all coming down. Well, he got sued. The artist didn't like it, and so he painted it over white before it was just demolished. And the judge is mad, and he got sued and has to pay $6.75. Mind you, he did paint it all white, but it was all going to be destroyed anyway to make room for the new development. So it was all going to be gone anyway. They tried, a guy named Cohen, who was the unofficial, unpaid curator of this, at the 5 Points, said that he tried to raise the money to buy it himself so they could keep the unofficial museum of the street culture art. And he couldn't raise the $200 million that it would have cost. Well, the owner did, and he sold it off, and it's all gone now. So it all would have been destroyed anyway, but he pissed off the judge. And the judge, ruling emotionally, not by the law, says that he has to pay $6.75 million. Pretty crazy. So it just begs the question, what do you all think of graffiti? I'm against it. I think that if you're going to be an artist, get a canvas. Or find a place that allows it. I mean, if it's allowed on a certain wall, go for it. Have fun. Knock yourself out. Is it art? Of course it's art. Of course graffiti is art. But that doesn't mean anything. Who cares? Art's not some special thing that you get to have, and that if you suddenly make a stick figure with a little smiley face on it with spray cans on someone else's fence, that it's protected. That's silly. Just because it's art and important to you doesn't mean it's an important piece or that anyone cares. I mean, by definition, being on graffiti, you're damaging someone else's property, and it's not permanent. Well, I don't know how these people expected it to be permanent. This one lady says, this is great. Yes. Artist Akiko Miyakami said that when she saw her artwork mutilated under a layer of white paint, it wasn't mutilated, it was painted over, as is what happens to art that you put on buildings that aren't yours. It gets painted over. It's called graffiti. According to a court document, she felt as though she was raped. Somebody painted over her graffiti, and it was rape. People paint over graffiti all the time. Because they raping everybody out here. In fact, Banksy's even getting painted stuff, and Bristol is getting painted over by up-and-coming artists. It's the nature of the beast. You don't like it, stop graffitiing. I think it's pretty simple. I don't think these guys had any case. Mind you, this is gonna go to the Supreme Court because property rights trump everything else. You don't have a freedom of speech on somebody else's property. You don't have freedom of assembly on somebody else's property. You sure as hell don't have the freedom to deface and damage other people's property in whatever name you want. Do not use art as a shield for your antisocial activities. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I do. You know why? Because. Thanks for watching. No, seriously.